Hello, my name is Abby Linville, and this is my Module 1 assignment, Building Professional Capacity. I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I currently live in Shawnee, Kansas. It is a suburb of Kansas City, Kansas. I have been married to my husband Luke for 12 years, and we have 11-year-old boy-girl twins. Their names are Reese and Eli. You can see them down in the corner here. They are in 6th grade. I work in Turner USD 202. It is a small school district in Kansas City, Kansas. We have 4 elementary schools, 1 middle, and 1 high school. I taught 1st grade in Turner for 10 years, and then I transitioned into an instructional coach role, and I have been in that role for the past 5 years. I have worked with 2nd and 3rd grade teachers, and I am currently working with kindergarten and 1st grade teachers. So I'm going to start off by looking at some of the information that the articles shared about supervision and evaluation of teachers and how to best support teachers. And then I'm going to just dive a little bit deeper and do a little bit more of pulling out some quotes from the articles and talking a little bit more about them. So one of the things they told us about supervision and evaluation of teachers are that the teacher evaluations should help improve instruction and inform your professional learning. So you definitely want to make sure that the feedback that you're giving to your teachers helps them grow. And you also then want to use the information that you gather to help you create targeted professional development that will really meet the specific needs that you're seeing in your teachers. It also talked a lot about the power of using peer observation and coaching to help drive change in teachers, because it kind of takes what they've learned in professional development and follows it through with the implementation part. And it also talked about the importance as a leader to get to know your staff members. When you know your staff members and you build those relationships, you get to know more about them and figure out how you can meet their specific needs as well. It also talked a lot about how important it is that supervisors engage in training for supporting mental health. And I think that's something that we're seeing as our teachers are working with kids who are experiencing trauma at home. Some of that is really heavy on them and on their hearts, and helping our teachers by providing them mental health support is extremely important. It also talked about the importance of really targeting your new teachers. If you want your teachers to stay for the long haul, when you start off by hiring those new teachers, you really want to make sure that you invest in them. You can do that by providing them with job shadow opportunities prior to them actually starting into the school, so that they really know what they're getting into and that they will be able to handle it. Kind of just gives them a little feel that this is the job that they really want. You also want to make sure that new teachers are part of a new teacher induction program where you provide them with targeted professional development on the curriculum that they're going to be using and on how to work best with students who have experienced trauma. You want to make sure that we're setting them up for success. Having constant communication with them through weekly meetings with their supervisor are an important way to make sure that they're invested in your school, and also making sure that you're involving them in the school culture, whether or not that's with their peers or with working with the students by running STUCOs or after school clubs, just making sure that you invest them in that school community. They also talked about using an incentive pay structure where you are giving some retention pay, so a higher rate of pay for the first 5 years, so that we can make sure that the teachers are really invested in the school district. You also want to make sure that you're providing your staff with a positive work environment. You want people to come to your school every day. When people are excited to come to work, the students really benefit from it because their teachers are really working to provide them with some high quality instruction. And you also want to make sure that you have transparency at your school, that everybody's working together and talking, and that there is a lot of honesty taking place. When people don't feel like there's honesty, then they aren't willing to trust, and they're just a little bit leery and not as comfortable in the workplace. So now I'm going to dig a little bit deeper and look at some of those quotes that I pulled from some of the articles that really helped inform me about supervision and evaluation. So the first area that I looked at was improvement. So how are we improving the teachers, and how are we improving the instruction that takes place? And so I talked a lot about in this quote that a lot of times that teacher evaluations are seen as a rubber stamp with little insight really going to actually looking at the effectiveness of teachers. And so they're just a checkbox and they're not really used. And that's something that we need to, as supervisors, make sure that we are not just doing a rubber stamp, that we're really using that evaluation times as an agent for change. So you want to make sure during evaluations that you're really providing your teachers with specific feedback that they can use in their classroom. And you want to make sure that not only if you just give that feedback, that you provide the support to help them improve that instruction. So if you give them feedback on a specific strategy then you would like them to use, then you need to either provide that professional learning or make a connection with them with their instructional coach so that they are supported in trying out that new strategy in their classroom. Teacher retention is a huge thing. You want to make sure that new teachers really have an accurate depiction of what those hard to staff schools look like. If they know what it looks like and they know what challenges they're coming towards them, they're more likely to stay. Make sure that you're really investing in your teachers. You're providing them with that professional development and setting them up for success. You also want to encourage growth in your teachers. You want to be excited and share the celebrations that they have when they're trying new strategies in their classroom and when they're really effective instructors and they're seeing that growth in their students. You want to make sure that you celebrate that. But you also want to be honest with your teachers. You want to make sure that you're giving them that honest feedback and telling them what they need to do to grow, but offering that support at the same time. A lot of the articles talked about professional development and how to make it most effective. Professional development is best done when it's done over a sustained amount of time. When you just give professional development in small spurts, you're less likely to see that carry over into implementation. In my district, when we work on doing that, we see a lot more growth in our teachers when we do it over a period of time and when we involve coaching and peer observations and we actually get a chance to get in and see the teachers using those practices and providing them feedback, it becomes part of their practice and something that we see continually over time. We also want to think really a lot about our teachers' well-being. Like I mentioned before, working with kids who have experienced trauma is really hard work and it takes a lot out of teachers. So making sure that teachers understand that their mental health is valued and important to us and that we know that stress is a huge thing, and just making sure that your teachers feel supported is so important. And so you have to, as a leader, be able to walk the walk. So if you tell your teachers that on the weekends that they should not be checking their email, that they need to take a break from work, then you yourself as a leader should not be sending emails, asking for responses, and you need to make sure that you are taking that time for mental health as well. And it's just not something that you're saying a coin phrase to your staff about. And leaders need to make sure that they're continually educating themselves on how to best support their teachers. And I think a lot of times the teacher's biggest source of stress, and it mentions this in there, is their workload. So as leaders, making sure that if we have opportunities to take something off of their plate and help support them, that we do that, and that we are making sure that we're not overloading with lots of little things, and that we're keeping that in mind as we start initiatives in our schools as well. Here is my standard correlation. For this assignment really gave me insight into how school leaders can support their teachers and the importance of professional learning and how it's so important to sustain it over time. It also helped me reflect on the mental health of teachers. That is something that my district has been discussing a lot about. And I really am thinking about some of the things we used to do pre-COVID, and I would love to help advocate for those things to come back. One of the things was one of our schools used to do Wellness Wednesdays where they would do yoga and provide yoga for the teachers every Wednesday morning. I feel like that would be something that would be great for the principal to bring back in this coming school year, or in this school year. I think as an instructional leader going forward, that I would make sure to meet with my new teachers on a regular basis. And I would also encourage my instructional coaches to be in those classrooms working with my new teachers, really investing in them and supporting them and helping them become the best teachers that they can be. And that's something that would really be a focus for me as a new principal. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I can't wait to get to learn more about you throughout this course. Thanks. Bye.